Feeling a little swamped by the body's control systems? Yeah, if you're getting ready for an exam, you know the endocrine and urinary systems can be super tricky. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through the confusion and focus on the high-yield, must-know points that are going to make all the difference for you.
Art, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the body's two main communication networks, then see exactly how their chemical messengers, we're talking hormones, actually work. After a quick tour of the major glands, we'll dive deep into the kidney's amazing filtration factory. And the best part, we're going to finish by connecting it all, showing how hormones are the real bosses of your body's water balance. Let's get into it. You ever stop and wonder how your body coordinates billions of cells to do, well, everything? From keeping your heart beating to managing your growth. It's not magic, I promise. It's all the work of two master communication networks that are constantly talking to each other to maintain that perfect internal balance we call homeostasis. Now, these two systems have totally different styles. Think of the nervous system like sending a super fast text message. It's almost instant, it's direct, and the effect is immediate, but it's over quickly, like pulling your hand off a hot stove. The endocrine system, on the other hand, is more like sending a company-wide memo. It uses chemical messengers called hormones that travel through the bloodstream. It takes a little longer to get started, but its effects are way more widespread and last much, much longer.
Okay, so if these hormones are like memos floating around, how do they find the right person to talk to? Well, the body has this incredibly precise system. Hormones don't just shout their message into the void. They use two really elegant mechanisms to make sure their instructions get delivered only to the specific cells that need to hear them.
The secret, the whole key, is the target cell. See, a hormone travels everywhere in your blood, but it can only actually do something to a cell that has a specific receptor for it. It's a perfect lock and key system. If a cell doesn't have the right lock, the hormone key just floats right on by. This is how your body sends messages with absolute pinpoint accuracy. Okay, check out this first method. Non-steroid hormones are usually made of protein, which means they're too big to get through the cell's front door. So they act as a first messenger. They knock on the door by binding to a receptor on the outside. This then activates a second messenger, like cyclic AMP, on the inside of the cell. And it's this second messenger that then runs around and carries out the hormone's instructions, starting a whole chain reaction.
Steroid hormones, though, they have an all-access VIP pass. Because they're made of lipids, they don't even need to knock. They just slide right through the cell membrane and head straight for the main office, the nucleus. In there, they team up with a receptor, and this new power couple goes right to the DNA to turn specific genes on or off. This is a much more direct way to change what a cell is doing, basically telling it to build brand new proteins from scratch. All right, so now we know how hormones deliver their messages. Let's meet the glands that are actually writing and sending them. We'll do a quick tour of the major players that you absolutely 100% need to know for your exam. Sitting right on top of your kidneys are the adrenal glands, and their outer layer, the cortex, is a total hormone factory. It makes three key types of steroids. You've got mineralocorticoids like aldosterone, which is all about managing your salt and water balance. Then there are the glucocorticoids like cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. It also makes some sex hormones. Now, definitely keep aldosterone in the back of your mind. That one is going to be a major player a little later on.
Everyone knows the pancreas for insulin, but it's got a partner hormone called glucagon. These two are a classic example of an antagonistic pair, which just means they do opposite things. After you eat a meal, beta cells release insulin to tell your cells, hey, open up and take in some sugar, lowering your blood sugar. But if your blood sugar gets too low, alpha cells release glucagon, which tells your liver to release its stored glucose. It's this beautiful push and pull system that keeps your blood sugar right in that sweet spot. Okay, time to switch gears and jump to our second system. We're moving from the body's chemical messengers to its master filtration plant, the kidneys. And to really get how they work, we need to zoom way, way in on their microscopic factories. Meet the nephron. You have over 2 million of these tiny, super complex structures in your kidneys, and every single one acts like a complete microscopic urine-making machine. These are the real workhorses of the urinary system, cleaning your blood 24/7 without ever taking a break.
For your exam, the most important thing is to follow the journey the fluid takes. It all starts in the renal corpuscle, that little ball structure where blood gets filtered. From there, the fluid, now called filtrate, starts a long, winding trip through the renal tubule. It goes through the PCT, down and up the nephron loop, and through the DCT. Each part of this tube has a very specific job in processing the fluid before it finally enters the collecting duct as urine.
So, how does all that processing actually happen? It's not just a simple filter, not at all. It's this really dynamic, three-step process that is absolutely central to how your kidneys work, and it's a huge favorite on exams. Get ready for this number. Every single day, your kidneys filter about 180 liters of fluid from your blood. That is nearly 50 gallons. To put that into perspective, your entire blood supply gets cleaned and processed more than 30 times every single day. Just incredible. Now, obviously, you don't produce 50 gallons of urine a day. I mean, if you did, you'd be in constant life-threatening dehydration. So what on earth happens to all that fluid? Well, the answer is in the next 2 steps. Here it is, the 3-step process you have to tattoo on your brain. First, filtration, where blood pressure basically squeezes water and all the small stuff out of the blood. Think of it like casting a really wide net. Second, and this is the most important part, reabsorption. This is where your body carefully reclaims over 99% of the water, plus all the good stuff like glucose and ions, and puts them back in the blood. And finally, secretion. This is like the last-minute cleanup crew, where your body actively kicks out any leftover waste from the blood into the tubule. So just remember, filter everything, reabsorb the good, secrete the bad.
And now we bring it all home. This is where we see the endocrine system directly giving commands to the urinary system. Let's look at how hormones act as the ultimate supervisors of your body's water balance, telling the kidneys exactly what they need to do. So, picture this. You're dehydrated, your blood volume is getting low, and your blood is a little too concentrated. Your body sensors pick up on this immediately and send an urgent SOS to your endocrine glands for help. First on the scene is antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Just think about the name. Antidiuresis literally means against making urine. ADH travels down to the collecting ducts of the nephrons and basically makes them more permeable to water. This lets more water get reabsorbed from the urine back into your blood. The result? You make less urine, it's more concentrated, and your body gets to hold on to that precious water.
And here he is again, our old friend aldosterone. Its strategy is a little different, but just as smart. It targets the kidney tubules and tells them to reabsorb more sodium, more salt, back into the blood. And here is a golden rule of physiology you have to remember. Water follows salt. So, by saving salt, aldosterone automatically forces more water to be reabsorbed too. This boosts both your blood volume and your blood pressure.
Okay, let's lock in these key takeaways for your exam. 1. Endocrine control is slow, but it's long-lasting. 2. Know the 2 hormone mechanisms. Second, messengers for non-steroids, direct DNA action for steroids. 3. You have to know the 3 steps of your information: filtration, reabsorption, secretion. 4. Understand how ADH and aldosterone work together to save water. And 5. Don't forget that insulin-glucagon tag team for balancing blood sugar. If you can master these 5 points, you are going to be in fantastic shape. So let's just end with this thought. We've seen how these absolutely incredible self-regulating systems work non-stop to keep you in perfect balance. But what happens when that balance, that homeostasis, gets lost? Well, that's when we see diseases that we all know, like diabetes, which is a failure of insulin signaling, or kidney disease, when that filtration process breaks down. This is exactly why understanding how it's all supposed to work is so critical, because it's the foundation for understanding everything that can go wrong.